Hello and welcome to Rough Around the Edges, episode 12. This is brought to you by Roughneck Games, and I'm going to break our normal format of waiting until we've spoiled things for about 20 or 30 minutes and just give you a warning now that there will be spoilers about Star Wars The Force Awakens.
This entire thing's a spoiler.
Episode 7. So if you haven't seen the movie, maybe just pause this.
Just pause it.
Go see the movie.
Just pause
then
it
come
till
back.
you're
Leave it
done.
up.
Pause it.
Unpause
As long as
it.
it takes.
And then
there's a
it'll
reminder.
Pause
Be
it, go
okay.
see the movie, start it over.
Well, you
Just
can
press
open
play.
another tab. It's no big deal.
So, So, with that said, I think we've all seen this, by the way, for the listener. We all know we've seen it. But I wanted to start off with first impressions. Was it what you thought it was going to be?
It was not what I thought it was going to be, that's for sure. But it was...
The 120-minute Luke fest?
yeah, right. That would have been probably too much Luke, yeah.
A little too much?
Any more Luke would have been great. But I understand why, you know.
Yeah. It's
It was not what I expected. I don't think that I had too many expectations of what I thought it was gonna be. I just had what I thought I wanted it, what I wanted to happen,
right.
and I think a lot of that happened in its own way, not in any form that I anticipated. But yeah, the only thing that I expected and it didn't happen was more of Luke, and it just wasn't that. And
Just one use of
that was
force
hard
power.
to deal with. You know, like an hour and a half into the movie, in the first time I saw it, I was thinking it's getting too late for Luke. Like it's going to be too crazy if Luke comes right now.
Right. Yeah, it was
And then
distracting,
I think
actually.
I had to resolve myself to, I don't think Luke's in this one very much. So that was against my expectation. I understand why. It's probably for the better, especially after the second showing. I think that's
Yeah.
the case.
It's not as distracting. I mean,
Right.
I had the same thing the last half hour. I was like, he's not going to be a
Right.
big part of this at all. And then I kept waiting and wondering, like, what's he going to be?
And
He's
a
going
lot
to be
of
in the
that-
movie.
I'd
A lot
argue
of
he
it
was a
comes from
huge
the
part of it.
EU.
Well, yeah, he was the whole purpose. But
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah,
not what I mean, though.
Yeah.
yeah.
I know.
But
like his involvement.
The idea of him, his presence wasn't there. But
I want him to be an active player in the movie, just like
whipping force powers everywhere.
I'm just saying what I thought and wanted. You know what I mean?
I-
Because like
yeah, I
in,
know.
the, in the EU, it's very much the following of Luke's story, right?
Yeah, definitely.
In the original writings and everything like that. So I don't know. There's no reason it had to be like that, but I was hoping for some sweet 30-year later Luke Skywalker.
The old graybeard.
He's like
force
just
user.
existing in the Force. He's just a spiritual celestial entity floating around, harassing people.
Hey guys,
Like Peeves from Harry Potter, maybe.
Got, Anakin and Qui-Gon and Yoda just
Yeah, but I
Ben Kenobi floating around his head all the time.
you'd think he'd go crazy though, just hanging out with ghosts.
Dead people.
Hopefully they address that in the next one. But
He sees
Yeah.
dead people.
you know,
I'm
I was
hoping we
thinking
get some flashbacks in the next one for sure.
Yeah.
yeah, that'd be cool. Something like that,
yeah.
or at least a little more information on anything. But we'll probably get to that. So my first reaction was it was great. I really enjoyed it.
Leaves a lot of questions.
There's a lot of questions, good questions, and it was not. It didn't meet my expectations in the best way possible, I think. So
It's
Yes.
that's my
understandable.
takeaway.
I
Did
understand
you
what
say
you mean.
did? Or did?
It did not meet my expectations in
Oh,
the best way
okay.
possible.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was meandering in my mind. All right, yeah, my impressions. I tried my best not to go into it with any preconceived notions of what might
Yeah.
happen. Everything was theory and speculation. I avoided spoilers to the best of my ability because I didn't see it opening night. I saw it Tuesday night.
Which for a regular movie wouldn't be a big deal. 3 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
4
Just wait a
days.
few days.
But something was spoiled, but my whole thought about it was kind of like, that could be someone fucking around, just basically what it was I got on Twitter and saw somebody's name, which was, and just to reinforce the spoiler alert, whose name was R.I.P. Han Solo. And I was like, all right.
Yeah,
all right.
just blast that all over the internet.
Yeah,
People.
no, it's great, cool. But I just kept it in my mind, like, yeah, it's a possibility that could happen. Who cares?
Yeah.
If it happens, it happens. And so I just wanted, and it could be that people do make spoiler things that aren't true, like when they
Just
fake
mess with
spoil
people.
things.
Yeah.
Just mess with people.
Like the one I was telling you
could
about,
say-
Mickey Mouse was really
The
good in it
people
as an
of the
X-wing
world.
fighter.
Yeah.
So horrible.
But it didn't. It really didn't bother me. But kind of the main things was. So I went in not buying into any of the theories. I didn't read about them, honestly. The only theories I heard, I didn't want to read about anything. I didn't want anyone else's ill-informed, preconceived notions of what's going to happen on in this. Well, theories, I guess. And so all I knew was from what you guys had told me, like about various theories and stuff. And so I went in totally open mind to whatever would happen. Like, and the cool thing was like this is canon, so this is like. And at this point in my life, having experienced so much of like extended universe stuff, it's like, oh, this is cool. This is what's going to be built off of.
Yeah.
In video games, more legends, books, things like that. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was great. And I think there were many things I loved that they did. One thing is they kept the aesthetic of any like objects or characters that they brought back. They kept the same aesthetic. Like Admiral Akbar is completely like it is totally looks like what he looked like. He wasn't CG'd.
Yeah.
He was a big like stupid mouth like flapping.
Stupid mouth flapping. Oh man, that dude, he
Poor Akbar.
led the whole.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
A little respect.
I'm talking about the effects from back when it was made.
It looked
like,
good though.
No, it looked good,
But
and
it
I
looks
think they did a
authentic.
little something with the eyes, but they did a.
You mean the devilry of the prequels is what you're talking about, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I could go on for hours about the prequels.
Just the CG.
Or just adding
Yeah.
CG
Just
characters
like-
willy-nilly into
Right.
the original
It
trilogy.
wa-
and
all the CG
re-releases.
was very tasteful
It was
because
extremely
you
tasteful.
didn't notice it.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah,
I agree.
exactly.
Except for like the things on the Han Solo ship, the
Yeah.
monsters on the ship.
Well,
Yeah.
something was bothering
But it was
Yeah,
me.
but
so
they
good.
didn't show them up close too often.
It was good.
It was
It worked.
The
like an unseen danger.
hologram
almost.
of is it Snoke? Is that
Snoke.
Yeah,
Snoke.
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 his hologram? I don't know what it was about it, but it was just like whenever it was on screen, I'm like, oh.
I have a theory that he's going to be really small and he's overcompensating.
Little
Yeah.
Wizard of Oz
Yeah.
trope there.
Yeah, I figure. I mean, how many?
Exactly.
I think I would have heard about giant force-using aliens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
my thought about that, like when they showed he was a hologram, I was like, okay, that makes sense. But I feel like just the image of him, that's it's kind of a his projection of the Force to like distort what
So-
he looks like.
Well,
but it was kind
It's-
of the CG was like, well, it was good,
In the original
but-
trilogy, though, I mean, they showed the Emperor, his hologram at one point was like a huge head of, like a huge
Yeah.
version of his head.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
Wherever
that's,
you put the
I think that's
webcam,
what
man.
they're tying it. Yeah.
It's all about the perspective of the
standing too close to the
webcam.
webcam.
Palpatine, you're
stand
really
close.
close to the camera, aren't you?
You got to back up.
Is this on?
You're ruining the
Shut
lighting.
up.
It's just his eyeball. Is this working?
Yeah.
Oh shit. I enjoyed it a lot. I haven't read any of the EU like you guys have, so I wasn't really distracted by any of that. If it distracted you guys, my complaint about the movie, and it doesn't ruin it for me. I loved the movie. I had a great time the whole time, but it's almost a retelling of A New Hope.
Yeah.
It is.
And it seems like of all the things to reuse, to use the Death Star a third time, essentially, was, I mean, you can be creative and not take risks. So I think they could have done a lot more there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that being said, I love the new characters. I really appreciated that they didn't shy away from humor in the movie. Because it's such a serious thing releasing a new Star Wars. I could see how the writers might try to play it off as super serious.
Right.
But they have those moments of humor, and it starts off with when Poe's talking to Kylo Ren, and he kneels. He's like, "So, do I talk first, or
Yeah.
do you talk
Yeah.
first?
Yeah, that was great.
How's this work?" And it's good. I enjoyed that aspect of it. And yeah, Ray and Finn are. I liked Finn more than I thought I was going to, and I do like seeing a perspective of a stormtrooper turned to the good side, because you don't get any personality out of the stormtroopers
Right.
ever
Right.
before. So you get that, and then Ray, whoever she is, and we'll probably dive into that later.
Oh yeah.
I enjoyed her development, and I enjoy her story, and I think I don't think it's a negative to have a strong female Jedi. So
No way.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
I'm
gonna be
I'm
amazing.
really looking forward to that.
You know, there were glimmers of Sital in
Yeah, that's a good point.
in
Yeah,
her,
that's a very
and
good
I got
point.
it a lot in the second time I saw it, and I love it
Yeah.
because she is one of the. I mean, she
Fighting
was
in the-
iconic in the
Yeah.
Old Republic, and
Oh, I wonder if she'll
Fighting in the wintry
switch
forest,
to
like the
a
CGI.
boat, like a
like a double
double.
bladed.
Yeah,
I
Yeah,
think that
carries
I think
around
they
that
I
staff,
think they're
so-
They
Yeah.
might be
I didn't even
foreshadowing
think
that with
about
the
that.
staff. And
That-
she
that's a-
dominates with that
Oh,
thing.
Yeah, that's the first thing I thought when I saw her staff was I was
Wow.
like, if she becomes Jedi, she's got to use.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be
Awesome.
fun.
But
Yeah, I really liked her story.
And it's what were you saying? What you were saying about Death Star 3, Starkiller Base, what have you? I thought the same thing the first
now
time.
it destroys 4 planets.
When they first brought it up, it's like, oh, here's the Death Star. This thing's much bigger. I was like, I don't know how I feel about that. But then it's, after seeing it a second time and thinking about it more in between, I think it makes some sense. It's different enough because it is a weapon built into a planet. It's not like a big space station, and it operates a little bit differently, and it's more powerful. And I mean, the first 2 were good ideas. They just weren't well executed. So third time's a charm.
Well,
yeah, I
But
can
no, not
understand
really,
them doing-
because
Yeah,
But
it
just
didn't
work
work out.
again.
just from movies, you want to see them be creative with what they do,
Yeah.
and to do something a third time. While I love how much it pays homage to A New Hope, it pays too much homage to A New Hope.
right.
Yeah.
But they did have a resounding success. I mean, they blew up the Senate. So that's going to have a big impact
Yeah,
on the next couple of movies.
This
as
is
the
true.
story
The
goes
whole
forward.
the whole Senate.
Well, wasn't that planet like the Senate
don't-
had
I
moved to
think-
that planet? That's what I've heard, or what I thought.
I don't.
it's where the
know.
Republic was. It's where the Republic base was that they were going to eventually go to. I believe. Or sorry. No, yeah. It was like the home planet of the Republic.
I thought
was
that they had moved.
They blew up Coruscant.
It wasn't Coruscant. They moved. They didn't have the Senate on Coruscant. They moved to whatever planet that was that blew up.
I'm not sure that was too clear. It could be. You
yeah,
could
I
be
didn't
right.
pick up on that.
I think I've.
I think it
that's
was
true.
a Republic planet. For
We'll
sure.
say that. Well, they blew up 5, right, with one shot.
They blew
So-
up the moons and then
Oh,
that
yeah,
one
that's true.
planet.
Well, they blew it up and they said the Republic while looking at it exploding. So
Yeah, I think it was a Republic planet.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
We know it's at
that was
least
my that was my
We can all
impression
agree on that.
from that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it was definitely a Republic planet.
That's a whole conversation too. Is what is the New Republic? But before we get off the Death Star
and
thing,
the Resistance.
we had this conversation. I think it's interesting that I think it makes sense as well to have an upgraded Death Star. I guess we can call it because it is definitely bigger and more
Yeah.
powerful.
First one worked technically. Look at Alderaan.
They all
Yeah,
work.
so it's a good
they
idea.
just aren't defended well enough.
Yeah, exactly.
Always leave
See,
that
poor
one.
execution.
For execution. But I mean, in our world today, so like the real world, right? People who have weapons that blow our minds can level a city or an area, right? So it makes sense that in space, if you're going to have something threatening, it has to be monumental. Like, what are you going to do besides kill a planet? You're going to make a thing that kills a sun and a planet simultaneously,
Yeah.
right? You charge
And a
one, you
bunch of
kill the
moons.
other. So I
So,
mean, I don't know
okay,
what
that
else
was
they would do.
that was the other thing I wasn't exactly clear on is they fired it twice, or they were going to.
Yeah.
Right, they didn't fire the second time.
How did they get another sun?
Assumably,
I think
they
it
were
can
already
move.
charged,
They
right?
no, I believe they said.
They
Can they move?
didn't
I
show
thought
it
it
I
was
charging.
believe they
planet,
said it
though.
would drain the sun until the sun is depleted. So like they could still keep draining the sun. Like they didn't take the entire sun
Well,
itself.
the second time they charged it, the sun's pretty much dead.
Yeah, they had to pull all the sun the second time in order to fire it because that was the time
Yeah.
window. And they never showed it pulling sun to fire the first
So they
time.
built it as a 2-shot weapon.
2 shots per sun.
Got 2 barrels,
The
and
funny
then
thing,
that's it.
The funny thing is, when I was first watching that scene, I was like, "All right, there's this big thing sticking out of this planet. This guy's the general dude's giving rousing speech about how they're great and the Republic sucks and the Resistance is horrible.
He did do
Scum." And then they fire the thing. And I'm like, okay, so is that like a giant engine that just is going to push this planet around? They're going to fly the planet into things. Like, what's going
Sweet.
on?
Smash planet.
And then I realized as this stuff's streaking across the sky, I'm like, okay, it leaves a long like trail as that propels further back, and then they started like hitting planets, kind of like more missile like, and I was like, oh, okay, so it's a big like scatter shot weapon.
This is not the propulsion
Yeah,
system.
this is not a propulsion system.
Incredible scattershot weapon.
Yeah.
It just hits. I don't know how far apart they were supposed to be.
I don't know.
Although I did have a moment of like I was taken out because the way they depicted the shot going across the sky and people watching, it looked like it was just sort of languidly moving across the horizon, and obviously it was moving insanely fast.
Don't
but it's
you know
just the
that
way,
you are
so it just
a shooting
reminded
star?
me of the quad laser. It was like, stay in your seat, everybody. It's coming. It'll get there.
Jumping is useless.
Luckily, those planets can't really move out of the
Don't
way.
move.
So.
Don't flee the planet.
The bullet is enormous.
I really do wonder about the planet that got destroyed, because I feel like if it was the actual Republic planet, it would have been like the core capital. There would have been a much bigger deal made.
Yeah, I think
I
would
feel like
stressed
they
that a
probably. I feel like they probably had more scenes around that describing like what it is, why this is happening, why it's an important target, and they probably cut it down just for length of the movie and for pacing and stuff. But you're right;
That
they
is
didn't.
core though. Like
They
there's
didn't
no
really
way.
explain very detailed. Like,
Yeah,
why
I
are they
doubt,
targeting
I
this?
doubt that. I think people would be freaking out if they destroyed the core of the Republic. Right?
I think it was somewhat in keeping kind of with at least A New Hope, in that some of it is just a little ambiguous about like
Who is anyone?
who
Yeah.
there's a bit of
Well,
like
that's
so who
true.
is it, and then they blow up Alderaan. It's like, why do we care about Alderaan? Like
Right.
because at
They're
first
peaceful.
you don't know, but then you realize like Alderaan's kind of important.
But they didn't
there's
really
all
I mean,
kinds of,
it's
specify,
genocide,
yeah.
right? It's
Yeah,
the
well, yeah.
strongest type of genocide.
Well, yes. Let's not forget that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, here's my big question about all this. Leia, so General Organa, right? Leia Organa is the general of the Resistance, which is not the Republic. So I want to know what the relationship between the New Republic is with the Resistance, and
Exactly.
why Leia, either she was given the task to be the Resistance against this new emerging First Order, or she just was, this is what I do. So she
Right.
just takes control of it. So I don't know. That's very ambiguous to me. And if it was the Republic core planet, maybe she just doesn't care that much. Like maybe she's retired. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm having a really hard time
I'm not
believing
there.
that
That's
it's
fine.
the core planet.
I lean somewhat in your direction on that not being the main one. Like, I just had the sense that it was, given some dialogue. I can't remember it exactly, but I do get the sense, because I was like, I really feel like we would have a scene where this is kind of a big deal.
Yeah, people would be like shattered. It'd be a perfect story
Yeah.
opportunity to show the Force is just really low emotionally, before they go into battle, and then this is like the hope they need, kind of thing. I mean, they do that in A New Hope. It was like they're targeting the rebel base. Everyone's screwed if they don't make this happen.
Right.
There wasn't that sense of urgency. Well, I
When
guess
they
it was
were
the exact
they were
same
targeting
thing.
the
It was
rebel
the exact
base.
same thing.
Yeah.
But it's the same
Charging
thing. I
the
mean,
sun
I would say that
shot.
planet is like Alderaan. It's probably something very important and well established
Yeah.
in the Republic, and their base is the next target.
Yeah, but I mean,
2 shots on.
the reason for Leia being general of the Resistance, I think, I mean, they mention it quite at least a couple times, that the Republic is backing the Resistance.
Yeah.
Right. They do.
So she could be a Republic general basically lending her aid
I
to the
think
Resistance.
that is the sense that I got
Yeah,
as well.
it's kind of like
That makes sense.
she's there to help lead the troops, but
Yeah. It's interesting that they choose to have the Resistance way outside the bounds of the New Republic. I mean, the New Republic is virtually non-existent.
Yeah. They don't really talk about the hierarchy.
They don't talk about anything.
But then again, the First Order is a bit. I mean, it's a rebuilding thing from the Empire, so
they're
it's
kind
a
of
little bit
ambiguous.
more.
right.
Well, and it's not the Empire.
Yeah,
It's its
Just
own
using the
entity.
Empire.
Yeah. Similar but different.
Here's a question. So, obviously, Leia is leading the Resistance, or lending her hand to the Resistance. When Han shows up, he talks about how basically he's just been reverting to his old ways, and I assume that's because of a falling out over what occurred.
Yeah.
yeah.
But
Ben.
it struck me as odd that Han would abandon a cause like that.
Well, he almost did it in the New
Yeah,
Hope.
he never wanted to be.
Well,
But,
but he
then
did.
he did.
Right.
it's like when he comes back in Return of the Jedi, right? During the
He's
battle
always
scene.
dancing on the edge, but then
Yeah.
he does
Well, I think they're supposed to be seen as such separate conflicts that maybe he just didn't, like, the rebellion was over. That was the cause. He doesn't see the resistance the same way.
Right.
Which he doesn't really, I guess, until it becomes very real.
True.
It becomes real and personal.
Yeah. Well, he's also running away from Ben.
And I think he and Leia kind of had a falling out. Like, when they meet up again, it's not, like, just hug and we're so happy we didn't see each other for so long, but it's kind of like
the sense was like
standoffish.
It was very much like the sense to me was very much like this is a divorced couple.
Yeah, like we
essentially whether they got married or not, I don't know.
To be
this
honest,
is definitely a separated couple. I feel like they
lost
both,
the kid, had some hard times.
They said like, okay, we lost Ben to basically to this, and we both dealt with it in different ways. So like, if there was anything to push Han to just be like, screw this. I'm not part of these causes anymore. They're causing it's too much trouble. It's not my old life. It's not that if anything was going to cause that, I think it would be his losing his son essentially.
Right.
And Leia probably wasn't keen on him being like, screw this, I'm out. Like, and he's never been like, you know, if you look at his character in the original trilogy, he's not like. You can tell he's not excellent father material.
Yeah,
this
he's
is
not the homebody.
He has a wanderlust.
I think that goes both ways. To be honest, I don't think I ever really saw Han and Leia as like this amazing romantic love story.
Mm-hmm.
It's great that they found a pocket of love in a dark time.
Yeah, exactly.
But they aren't fitting for each other.
No, they're not.
Nor are they fitting to. I mean, yeah, Han's a scoundrel. Leia's a duty-driven Senate politician.
If we can,
they're never going to just settle down and
they're never. It's the same with Anakin and Padme.
moisture farming life.
Anakin's driven by the Jedi. He's confused, and Padme also.
She has responsibilities
she has
too,
obligations to her people.
If we can take anything, some wisdom from the movie Steam, no, Speed. Sandra
Thinking
Bullock's
about
character.
that holiday sale.
Yeah, I am. Sandra Bullock's character mentions at least a couple times that relationships based on extreme circumstances don't work out. So,
Oh man!
And I was going to
Bringing
back
up the
to
speed
the
wisdom.
original movie Stargate, where Kurt Russell's kid dies and he wants to just go off on a suicide mission and blow himself up.
yeah, exactly.
So this shit happens.
Wow, here we go.
Yeah,
Cinema gems.
yeah. Okay, Stargate
So we live our lives.
is a cinema gem.
Oh, God.
So
man.
much more than that.
That's funny.
Yeah, but yeah, I think it's completely it's fitting in Han's character. I mean, the little side aspect, because there are so many characters, but in the original trilogy, he's constantly conflicted about whether he wants to be a part of what's going on or not, and a lot of it has to do with, I think, his attraction to and liking of Leia, and a sense of his kind of roguish responsibility to after picking up Luke. And,
Yeah, I think he likes Luke.
yeah,
I know
he
Luke's
does
a-
like
And Luke ran away, so he's like, oh, screw it.
That's probably true. Why
Yeah.
can't he run away?
Yeah.
yeah.
Everything fell apart.
He does have one of his more emotional moments when Rey says, you knew Luke Skywalker, and then Han like has this moment of like, gosh, I'm back in this again.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
know Luke, and then he's on board because this
Right.
is going to
Yeah.
help Luke.
Yeah, and where he's like, it's
people
all
finally-
Trying
it's
to
all
bring-
real.
Yeah.
Bring the
Like,
gang back together.
He definitely has that
Yeah.
that sense of like, yeah, like this is like he's been going around with like this knowledge of something that isn't common knowledge. It's a legend,
Yeah,
and he's just like, yeah, it's all real shit. Why did I run into you? The Force. That's
Force.
That's why he ran in.
Fucking
predestination.
Prestidigitation.
A pull, a gentle pull.
So obviously this is a handoff movie. I mean, the next couple are going to be more and more the new characters, and they've obviously
Yes.
already gotten rid of one
Well, it's got to be a lot of
Character.
Luke, I would assume.
to clear the way.
Yeah.
But yeah,
The
Luke's
next
probably
one's
going to
gotta
be
be
huge.
focused on him and Rey.
Right, him and
It's
Rey.
probably going to mirror Empire in many ways, right?
Yeah.
Rey is training, and then she gets
Yep.
pulled away or something.
He's the new Yoda,
Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he'll probably, die of old age like Yoda, and then she'll go
I
be
doubt
awesome.
that. very much.
Never, never. He's too young. 900 years. It's been 30. Yeah, he's gonna be fine.
He'll be okay.
Well,
He's got a little gray.
let's kind of dive into that a little bit more and really talk about one big thing. Han dies.
Yeah.
So one thing that I want to talk about with that is I want to
R.I.P. Han Solo.
yeah, well, yeah, yeah. Oh well, it happened.
Yeah.
But
You should make that the name of the episode.
yeah,
God.
Ooh.
Yeah, that'd be evil.
yeah.
I was
Let's just
at
piss
an
people
event
off.
the other night. Quick side tangent, where somebody like Wi-Fi was in high demand. People were making hotspots, and so many of them were named Han Solo dies. Or
Oh,
it was
God.
terrible.
Oh no!
I'd already obviously seen the movie.
That's
but
awful.
It was brutal.
I fucking hate
What is
people.
wrong with people?
People just like to have knowledge, other people don't. It's a
shove it in
power
people's
thing.
faces.
Yeah,
It's a very
it's-
cheap, petty power
It's a
thing.
very
That's sad.
petty. Fucking
Petty.
hate people. All right,
Tom,
Sorry.
but not you, dear listener. Unless you did that, then you're an ass.
don't do it.
And so Han dies, and my personal opinion on all of that is, and I said this to Joe last night when we were walking out, but we didn't delve into it too much. Is I think that's exactly what needed to happen for many reasons. Simplest reason, and the one that's kind of more meta and outside the movie itself, breaks the fourth wall, is Harrison Ford's getting pretty old. But I
Can't
don't
make the
think-
movie without breaking his ankle.
Yeah, but I don't think that's not my main reason for thinking that this is what needed to happen. I think it needed to happen to shift to the kind of the new
Oh yeah, definitely.
the new squad, like
clear
you
the
said.
way.
To clear the way, hand it over to the new characters, make them important. We need to care about Rey. We need to care about Finn. We need to care about Kylo Ren, and also most importantly,
a little weather
Pouring
action.
out.
Some
it's a little
precipitation
rain.
hitting the roof.
Let's get all cozy in here.
I wish it were snow.
Most importantly, that needed to happen for the character development of Kylo Ren.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Agree.
Yeah.
I think that's the number one right
That
there.
makes sense.
That's the main reason.
And Ray.
And I
he's-
was
he's a
and
bit-
Rey. Yeah.
There's a ripple.
I was
for Rey.
strangely apathetic to like when it occurred. I was just like, it didn't bother me at all, and maybe it is because it fits.
Yeah,
but,
you kinda see it
I would
coming
have
and they
thought
did it
that
well.
I would have more of an emotional reaction to Han dying, and maybe it's because they foreshadow it pretty well. At least it seemed pretty
It
obvious
seemed
to
like
me
it, yeah.
as
Yeah.
soon as they were about to meet that was going to happen.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, he's walking down that little plank
Right.
with with the
as soon as
abyss
he
on
steps out
either
from behind
side.
the
It's
column,
like
you're
this.
like, oh, he's dead.
Yeah,
This looks
He's- no,
like a
he's
bad
gonna-
situation.
He's gonna convert. He's
Right.
gonna
yeah,
convert.
Right.
yeah. Why would you? I was like,
Then the
whole
next
time,
two
I'm like,
movies don't even need to happen. Right?
I'm like, just do
They
it from
just go
behind the
for
railing,
snow.
Han.
Get straight to the big
Just
top.
yell to him from behind the railing. You
Stay
don't
back.
get. Why are you close to him? He has a lightsaber. Do you realize how this works?
Shoot his lightsaber off with your amazing no-look
Right.
game that you have already shown us, and take him down.
Maybe
He's your
borrow
damn
the
son. Put him
bowcaster.
in his place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't just go around killing people.
Yeah, he's been a horrible
Who
son.
lets their
Beat
son
his
do
ass.
that? I was much more emotionally connected to the death in my second viewing, Jar,
Were you?
because I feel the same way. I think I've mentally prepared myself for some
someone
thing
to go
to happen. I honestly thought it was going to be Chewie. I'm really glad it wasn't. Although honestly,
Me too.
Yeah,
honestly,
because Chewie can live on in a costume.
I realize it's worse, kind of,
Yeah.
in a way, because now Chewie, like,
It's-
in this virtual world, Chewie is probably in the lowest point of his life,
It's a little listless.
which is awful.
which is awesome to make him like totally
Yeah,
rage out
it adds a lot of
Wookiee
depth,
style.
which he does
badass.
right in that
Oh,
moment.
I know, it's so
yeah.
great. Sorry.
But yeah, I think the second time I was much more connected to. I think my first showing, I don't know. I guess I didn't until the end. I didn't think about Kylo Ren. I thought Kylo Ren was supposed to be a badass, and he's not. Right?
Yeah.
he's a little
he's young.
badass.
He's not-
He's a little
he's
badass.
kind of
not
wish
yet,
washy.
But he is totally young and he's sloppy and he's no
Immature.
like Darth Maul. Darth Maul was very well trained when
Right.
he came into the movies. Darth Vader was fully formed in
Right.
A New Hope. He was
Yeah.
the terror of the galaxy.
Right.
So Kylo is not formed, and once I accepted that and then got that through the second viewing, I felt much more. There's a lot more like pity and intensity of.
Oh, right.
Kylo's really
Yeah.
vulnerable right now. I'm not really sure where he could go either way, but he passed his test, so to speak.
Yeah.
The test he set for himself. It's not what everybody wanted, but
Yeah.
life is perspective. So maybe
yeah.
he's right. We don't know what happened.
And I thought the scene was absolutely great because he asks, he's like, I want to be released from this, and what he wants to be released from is the basically the pull to the light and everything, and he's like, I want you to help me do this, and he's like, I'll do anything for you. And what he had to do for him to be relieved of that pain in his mind, in the
die.
dark side perspective, was to kill him.
Yeah.
Right.
And
right.
That
And now-
is, that is core in the archetype too. I mean,
oh yeah,
that's a whole nother conversation though. Maybe
but yeah,
get into that later.
it's so parallel though with Rey going, and she's going to get trained up,
Yep.
in between the movies and in the second movie. But he's going now to go complete his training with Snoke, whatever that means.
Right.
So he's going to be way more badass from here on out.
Yeah.
I guess another part of it was going in. This is maybe back to the expectation part. I just assumed it would be like a focus on the good side and the character developing in that. But this movie was very much a split characterization of Rey and Finn, of course, but mostly Rey. But Kylo's a whole nother line that we're going to be following, which is super cool because we don't really get that.
I'm really happy about that.
We always
I'm
have these
very happy.
kind of static villains,
But
static
exactly,
antagonists.
Vader was formed in the original trilogy. Vader
Yeah.
was already formed.
He had
The
no-
Emperor
Right.
was already formed. There was no development to it besides, here's this guy wearing black. He's the bad guy.
And that's not really, it's not really to the end of A New Hope and Return of the Jedi where we see complexity in Vader, right? Where he reveals himself to his son, where he wants to betray
Right.
the Emperor with his son. That's
And that's an
cool.
interesting perspective.
Yeah,
the
that's a
end
good
of the
development.
line kind of thing.
But it was so late. We get it right off the bat. I
Yeah.
agree. It's much more.
Yeah.
appealing.
And there's more to it. I mean, the Knights of Ren exist. And where
Yeah,
we
are
don't
they?
know
surprised
anything
they
about
didn't go
those.
into that.
Yeah.
They mention it like once.
Snoke mentions it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I imagine that they are probably other people Luke was trying to train
Yeah, I
that,
think
that
that's-
Ren
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think-
converted. And then
I
I think
they
that was-
probably
that was
they
the scene,
probably killed.
Yeah, that Rey saw. I think.
Yes.
Rey saw with the lightsaber, she saw like
Exactly.
him and a bunch of other people, which I assume were the Knights of Ren.
Yeah.
And
I
it was
assume
mentioned that like they, wiped out the Jedi Academy.
Yeah, I assume he
Luke ran
converted
away.
whoever would join him, and then they killed whoever wouldn't.
Yeah.
And Luke is not super happy about that, so he's a bit he's become a hermit.
Well,
But probably sees himself as a failure.
yeah.
Yeah, he done screwed up.
He
But I think Ray,
diminished and went
and
into
I
the
think
West.
Ray's appearance for him is kind of a hopeful thing because obviously he probably senses the Force in her, and
Yeah.
she comes with his dad's lightsaber, the original, the blue
Yeah,
one.
I almost feel like they're related.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I,
oh, yeah.
I agree.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
I think Rey might be the
There's
twin
gotta be more to
sister.
it.
It might be a Jason Jaina story.
Yeah,
Right.
Oh, you
it's-
think
She might
related
she might
to
be
Kylo?
She could
Kylo's
be related.
sister.
She's
no, Han would have known that.
she's
and
either
he
in-
would've-
Well,
Maybe
there's
not,
one
though.
scene where Han, like when they're in the bar early on, and the orange
the Eye Lady.
Mav, I think is
Yeah.
her name.
she asks who's the girl, and then Han turns to say something to her, and that cuts over to the other scene.
Yeah,
And I was
she's-
wondering, like, was he going to explain maybe something?
She says it.
Why
with-
did
I
they
don't
cut
know.
away right there?
She says it with a clever tone. And she's like, "So, who's the girl?"
yeah,
And Han does have a very
why
uncharacteristic
wouldn't Leia-
affection for her.
I don't know.
Why wouldn't they tell her?
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
I don't know.
Like,
Why'd
there's
they
no
drop
reason
her
he
on a
needs to like
planet
her.
in the desert and just leave her there?
Luke's kid. That's why.
And
yeah.
Kylo.
It could be Luke's kid.
Well, it's the same thing.
it's gonna be one or the
over-
other, most
It's what
likely.
happened to Leia and Luke. They didn't know their parents. Parents didn't know them. They were placed away for the sake of safety.
And there's,
You know,
if they were to go that route, they'd obviously have some compelling reason that they haven't explained yet. But I think it's possibly more likely it's Luke's.
Yeah. I don't know.
But
But
you don't
then,
know who the
like,
mother
how
is.
Yeah.
does Luke?
I don't know why that would be.
This is where I fall
Don't know.
on that.
Does Luke fall in love? And I mean, that just doesn't make much sense.
They'd have to
That's
explain
against
a whole
the
lot.
Jedi Order.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if he's trying
Mara
to go
Jade?
for Jedi Order.
little Mara Jade action in there.
This
Yeah.
this is where I fall on that. I don't think she's a twin. Well, she could be, but I'll throw this theory out there. I think she is a younger sister of Kylo Ren.
So
That'd be
related,
cool.
but not a twin.
Not a twin. When Kylo Ren's like basically prying from her mind, he says she saw Han Solo like a father she never had, etc. And he's like, let me
And he also,
trust me, he wasn't.
I think that's his own. Yeah, I think that's him projecting himself though a little bit too, right?
Well,
Because-
that the comment afterwards is, but he's reading her senses, and she has a sense like he's a father, and why would that be kind of teased and stuff?
'Cause she doesn't
So
have
I
parents.
think Luke is basically Luke is her uncle, and
yeah.
yeah.
so
Well, Leia's her mom, therefore Darth Vader is her grandpa. I think
Exactly.
I think that's the biggest connection that we're getting here is the Anakin connection to the grandkids.
yes,
Yeah.
that's exactly what
So she doesn't have to be anybody's daughter. She could just be a Force
Right.
sensitive,
and
right?
we don't have enough evidence to prove one way or the other. So,
But I think it makes sense that she could have that connection with Kylo because
Yeah.
they do have a weird thing.
Yeah.
she does have some connection with Luke because Kylo Ren pulls out like the view of the ocean and the island, which is where she ends up going to see Luke.
Right.
So she somehow sensed that, or knew that would happen, or knew it from before, or something.
she felt the pull of the
but, yeah.
lightsaber. Like, why would she feel the pull of that lightsaber if she wasn't connected to it in such a way that like and that woman says, you know, this was Luke's lightsaber, and you know, you feel the pull of this lightsaber. Luke felt the pull of this lightsaber. It was his grandfather's lightsaber.
Right. And that could easily be explained just that, I mean, lightsabers are more than just a weapon and tool. I mean, the crystal in it has more to it than they ever really explain.
And there's just like that kind of, you know, connection to it because it's an important object that has a lot to do with the Force.
Right.
Not that there's anything super mystical about it, in my opinion, but like, it's just, this is an object belonging to this Force user. You're going to have some like residual Force stuff going on here.
Yeah,
and
she powerful Force user.
Yeah, and she feels a pull because she specifically is in that bloodline. And but yeah, I was just saying her uncle is like, that's just kind of a side thing. Meaning Vader is
right.
And Kylo Ren,
because Vader's the chosen one, right?
So there's
you were the chosen one.
He's the one who brings balance.
You're supposed to bring balance.
So, and there's also parody.
I mean, this is very much the story of Vader, right? The whole Star Wars, everything is Vader.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it was so horribly cast in the prequels.
Hated.
So
well done in Jumpers.
So yeah,
I don't think
good
he was
job
bad.
in Jumpers.
I think some of the writing was just.
I actually don't mind Hayden too much.
No,
he's a good angry person.
The writing was bad.
He did some of
good
that.
Whiny angry.
He
person.
did some of that.
Which there's a little bit of that in Kylo, but I think it's like it's done well in Kylo Ren.
Kylo
I don't know.
is a
At
child.
first, I really didn't like him. Like as soon as he started taking his mask off, he kind of turned angsty, and I wasn't.
Well, it was kind of a reveal,
a
though.
huge
He's
fan,
young,
but I mean, you made some comments about seeing it a second time, Dane, and that changing your perspective
definitely.
on him, and I could see that happening because there's a lot of parts to Kylo that I do appreciate, and I enjoyed his temper tantrums. And
yes, slashing
when
the hell out of the console.
the hell out of the console, and then he just
anything else.
Yeah, and I
force
thought,
pulls that dude and just starts choking him.
Yep,
I thought
that was amazing.
And those stormtroopers are just like,
he's
the other
sloppy,
way.
you know.
Like,
he's
yeah,
very
sloppy.
Which is kind of raw, you know.
He's very raw. Yeah.
One thing that I really wanted to mention, just real quick, to jump back on the relationship between Kylo Ren and Rey, is he has something of his grandfather's, and so does she. He has a dark side, essentially kind of relic of
and she has a relic
Anakin's,
from
which
him
is the mask that he dons when he's dark side, injured, all messed up.
Right.
And she has the lightsaber from when he was a Jedi. So
true. That's an interesting split.
So I think they both.
You mean the burnt relic?
Yeah, he has
the helmet.
The helmet.
Old and busted helmet that he kind of talks
Old
to.
Busted.
Yeah, I'm using relic as just a.
I think
loosely.
that's the perfect word.
Oh yeah,
I think the relic is the best word.
Yeah, and
That's
so
there.
yeah, he's got the helmet. She's got. There's just such a connection between the two in that way that I
like
really
they both
think
have something from his life.
really, and the reason why she's a younger sister and is put on the planet, put on Jakku or whatever it was, is because they like.
He turned, and the academy got shut down, and they needed to put her somewhere.
Yeah, and they wanted.
That would make sense.
They
She
wanted
was too young.
Yeah,
they wanted her to be safe,
or she would be. I mean, that age gap doesn't make sense to me.
No, not. I think what happened. I think it was more. I think he did something when they were young because they said they sent him to Luke. For help.
Okay.
I think they noticed he was
maybe he was one of those kids that
he had a
tortures
lot
puppies.
of Anakin. Yeah, he had a lot of evil and anger in him, and I think they were worried, and they had another kid, and they're worried about and we don't know how long he trained with Luke. It could have been a long time.
We know zero of these things.
Yeah.
Well, I love the
Just
speculation.
come up with all kinds of fun.
No,
totally.
And so my thought is that they sent her to a remote planet for safety, like you had mentioned before with Luke and Leia. And it just happened to be a desert planet very similar to Tatooine.
She seemed pretty young though.
Yeah, she was
she's pretty
in the
young.
memory.
5.
Yeah, like she's a toddler. I would say.
Thinking
4 or
about
5.
this, I looked at the actual
And they're
ages of
like,
the
you don't
actors. They're
remember.
10 years apart.
Are they?
Yeah.
Well,
She's 92. He's 82, I believe.
Yeah.
Which doesn't mean a whole lot in cinema.
No,
but
it doesn't. I'm
is
just
interesting
saying.
as a fact.
I'm
She's
just-
1982.
90,
No, she's 92. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, young.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, right.
And anyway,
Yeah, well, it's funny because in 2 years when that movie plays, you're gonna bring this back up and shove it in our faces if you're right.
Oh yeah, I will definitely.
I honestly hope that a lot of that is right.
Yeah,
I
that
mean,
would be a really great story.
I
These are
hope
just my
she's a
theories
family
and-
member. I agree. I'm in the same boat. I
They
hope
just
she's
make
a family
sense
member.
to me.
It would explain a lot of the Force attraction and sensitivities.
Everything seemed to me to point in that direction.
Yeah.
And we're obviously extrapolating. All we really know is, she's probably going to be related to somebody.
She's
who's
super
got some
powerful,
sort of backstory.
so,
She is
I mean-
insanely powerful.
Yeah.
Almost like to the point
There's
of
going to be some strong backstory.
ridiculousness.
Yeah.
She
The fact
started.
that she
She
just
started to
turns it
learn.
on at the
yeah,
end.
she just started to figure out, and
She must have seen it before because you wouldn't
Well,
just intuitively know, like,
see,
I can force control
it's-
Daniel Craig.
Yeah, I see. My thought there, right? My thought there is
I'll explain that. In a bit.
that she
Is that Stormtrooper Daniel Craig?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
he was
awesome.
shooting next door and just came over and they gave him that role.
That's
Yeah.
so awesome.
There's like a ton of those, like a dozen cameos in the movie.
That's great.
Yeah. It's great.
But it's like she's really obsessed with the legend and myth stuff. She always gets
yeah.
really excited when it's discussed. So maybe she just heard these legends and myths and then starts
Trying to emulate.
replicating the story she heard,
I could see that.
which
She-
makes
she
a lot of
wears-
sense because she's
Yeah.
flying blind. I mean, she's scared and it's a horrifying moment. She's probably just doing whatever she can pull out of her
Yeah.
arsenal of memories.
And I think she has she has a huge interest in that whole legend. She hangs out by the downed AT-AT. She
Yeah.
she wears
Right.
the
That's where she
Rebel
gets her
helmet.
scrap. She
Yeah.
goes into the Star Destroyers and
Yep.
yeah, I think she gets super excited about the Resistance.
Yeah,
She's
absolutely.
very much a Luke.
And she looks at it like, why would we
This is-
not
this is what
help
we
the
look like.
resistance?
Yeah.
Like, this is great. Like,
Yeah.
this is the legend, like the legend I heard.
Right.
Which I think is good.
And she can't handle that Finn isn't on board like she is.
Oh, yeah.
What are you doing? Like she cannot.
Like,
understand
why are you
that
running away?
at all?
Yeah.
Whereas he was raised with, like, I'm an Imperial taken from my family. And, like, and I think the similarities to A New Hope are good in that sense, in that she's kind of is emulating the legend that she heard, and she's really interested in it and everything like that. But I do agree that they did go a little. That was you, sorry, Jar.
Right.
I was looking at Dane that whole time. I do agree that that they do go a little hard on that, like, homage to
Many
the point
layers
of
it.
replicating
Yeah.
it.
But
Almost.
that's okay.
Yeah.
I still loved it.
I think it kind of makes sense if you also include the fact that the Star Wars universe is very cyclical.
This is true.
You know,
And
it's just
it's
back
based-
and forth between Republic and Empire types. The dark side,
And
the
it's,
light,
and
kinda
it's based on
swirling.
the hero archetype. So I
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I find I understand the symbols and the parallels to A New Hope and also a Phantom Menace to a certain degree that you guys are talking about. I mean, it's obviously there, but I think it's more so a parallel to that archetype story. You know,
Like the hero's journey
very,
kinda thing.
It very literally follows the hero's journey. Every iteration of the trilogies does it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
The same symbols are coming up. You know, I don't know.
Yeah,
I think
it's
it's
a
just
story type that's-
it's what they're doing with Star Wars. I mean, that's kind of what Star Wars is based on,
Sure.
Yeah, that's what
and
it
that's
is.
why.
I found it interesting that both Rey and Finn were fairly adept with a lightsaber. I mean, I know that Kylo Ren was injured by the bowcaster and obviously didn't look Wayne, wasn't looking healthy there. But they put up a pretty good fight, and Finn was pretty good with a lightsaber with no actual lightsaber training.
Yeah,
That I did not understand. And I don't know if they were alluding it to anything, but yeah, it just didn't make... I can understand Rey, obviously, being a Force user and being connected in some way to some serious power.
yeah.
But Finn, there's... I don't know, maybe since Kylo kind of looked at him when he didn't shoot those people, but Kylo didn't see that, but he still looked over kind of sensing a disturbance.
Yeah.
And so it makes me wonder if Finn is somehow force sensitive in a way.
Yeah.
But
Well,
if he is,
I-
it can't be that.
I would definitely like to point out that Finn is not good at using a lightsaber.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
gets defeated twice.
Well, yes, but
Pretty-
he doesn't
pretty
injure
readily.
himself. Like
No, he doesn't.
would
He's
be the
also
worry.
like a soldier, though, right?
That's what I was going to say.
yeah,
That's the
he's
explanation.
military trained.
And
Joe
he
and I
fights,
talked about
he
this,
fights a
so-
stormtrooper in melee combat. So the stormtroopers have some sort of melee
that
training.
stormtrooper was badass.
Yeah,
and
he kinda
owned
was.
him.
Yes.
Oh yeah, he owned him.
He
And
destroyed
just
it.
got shot.
They,
but-
they do have a little bit of melee training, so he wouldn't just stumble and kill himself.
Right,
But
that's
yeah, you're
true.
right. He doesn't. I mean, he sneaks up and stabs some stormtrooper unexpectedly.
Right.
Yeah.
Other than that, he just doesn't die.
If you,
That's some funny shit.
I guess.
I was watching that with
Yeah,
with
barely.
this in
Yeah.
mind. First of all, okay, so Joe and I kind of talked about this last night, and this is something that I really want to mention and how I perceive this. When you see the Jedi fighting in the prequels, prequel. I don't know why I enunciated that. When you see the Jedi fighting in the prequels, they are extremely skilled, very acrobatic,
Oh,
all
yeah.
of that. And I think the way they had them fight in this film was an excellent choice because
Agreed.
they're very
Couldn't agree more.
they're very acrobatic and very skilled with the lightsaber. But that's the product of the Jedi Order having existed for like thousands of years,
Yeah,
and
in the
that
prequels.
training being so honed and so precise, they're able to fight that way. And then you have Luke, like essentially the Jedi Order gets destroyed, and then you have Luke comes along and he's being trained by first an old Obi-Wan, and
then a green midget.
then Yoda, and his training is very rudimentary and very.
Yoda doesn't really teach him how to use a lightsaber.
No, he,
It's true.
he doesn't. He's all Force using, whereas
Obi-Wan was all
Kenobi,
lightsaber, which
yeah,
makes sense for their
which makes sense
affinities.
because he's like a
Definitely.
knight and
Right.
Yoda's more a counselor.
Great.
And so he trains on the Millennium Falcon with the little ball that floats around, which I thought
Which they show again.
I thought the
in this
cameo
movie.
Yeah,
that
that was
was
great.
Did you
That
see
was
that?
really cool.
the cameo of that was
what?
hilarious.
When I think it's when Finn's going through
Finn
a bunch of
takes
stuff
it out
when
of,
they're
like, a
leaving, he
bag or
pulls it
something.
out of a bag and like tosses it behind him.
He pulls it out, looks at it for a bit, and kind of like shakes his head.
the little
Oh,
training
battle
droid?
droid. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
little
yeah,
floaty.
Yep.
Yeah,
ball.
that
Yeah.
is Luke's training with a with a lightsaber, essentially.
Yeah,
And
that's the most of what I think they've shown.
Whereas the Jedi in the prequels, I mean, they're from very young trained with a lightsaber.
The younglings.
And anyway, so that all that knowledge and training of use of a lightsaber has been lost. So we then come into this movie where you have both Rey and Finn picking up a lightsaber without training. So the reason why I think Finn's able to use it at least somewhat competently is, like Joe said,
The stormtrooper.
that they have stormtrooper training. They're probably given, and he is trained from a young age. He was taken from his family, and so he does have some melee training and is able to use a weapon without hitting himself with it, and so he's able to be at least semi-competent. But again, like Dane said, he loses twice.
He does hit Kylo
He's
Ren in the
not-
shoulder, though, right?
He's not good. He does, but
He
Kylo
does.
Ren's injured
But
already.
yeah, he's
by the
kinda, like,
bowcaster.
falling over.
Kylo Ren is injured and also, I think, very concerned about Rey.
And
Rey's
also,
existence.
Yeah.
Seeing as how he
also-
tries to take her out
Right.
first.
Kylo Ren was
Immediately.
originally trained by Luke, and Luke himself, he's more on the Force using side of the Force. He's not.
Yeah.
He's not exactly an
He
excellent.
doesn't have to
lightsaber.
be. Right. They can change. That's,
No,
that's
no.
definitely.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
He's-
That was one of my problems.
But he's also an
constantly
undertrained
in
lightsaber
thinking about
combatant.
this movie.
I
What's
mean,
that?
he's also undertrained in lightsaber
Oh, I agree.
combat.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Yeah, probably mostly self-trained.
yeah, exactly. And
They talk about that in Shadows of the Empire a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's canon anymore.
I don't think so.
no, but I think the theme of it
Yeah.
still being there
There's
makes
no reason
sense
for
to
them
me.
to change it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a great story.
And so anyway, so yeah, he's not trained. So Finn's able to use it, loses to just a run-of-the-mill stormtrooper who's pretty badass. He just looks at him. He's like, "All right, let's do this."
He's pissed too. This dude is a traitor.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Finn just absolutely went against everything they were taught.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
And then also,
That would be horrifying. If,
Oh,
Finn
yeah.
better be nervous right there because this dude is like,
oh,
this is
and
traitor
All
age.
decked out wearing this, he's swinging this
rage.
crazy
Yeah,
thing.
he's like,
Yeah.
Doesn't he
And I
call him
think-
traitor? Doesn't he call him out? He's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want
Totally
you.
does.
Oh, yeah. Everybody calls him traitor.
yeah, and
Kylo even gets really upset
Yeah.
about it.
Oh, yeah.
you just and I loved that. I loved that Kylo was so emotional because that's part of the dark side.
The
Yeah.
rage
It's
and anger.
it's harnessing your emotions to just.
I love that he
rage
hits
out
himself
and-
in the wound to feel pain to fuel the dark side.
I agree.
Exactly.
I
At
agree.
first, I
Yes.
was like, that's a little weird that he's just
And I know. Coming to that
self-flagellation. And I was like,
realization.
oh, yeah, it's pain. Feeling
It's
the dark
great.
side makes total sense.
I agree
Yeah. I
completely.
I did not connect that. I was like, why is
That's
he,
what
Why
I
is he hitting
assumed.
himself?
worse?
Yeah.
No,
That's
why would you
amazing.
injure yourself more?
Yeah.
Kylo.
Well,
come on.
there's
He's trying to amp
also
himself up, man.
we don't know the story of Kylo Ren, but there is a deeper layer. If indeed he betrayed Luke, so he himself is kind of a traitor, and that would just make him berserk, right?
sees
Yeah.
himself.
So that's something that I was
Yeah,
thinking about.
he was a traitor, and then
last
somebody betrayed him, and he's conflicted
He doesn't
about
like it.
that.
He freaks out. He doesn't like it, right?
I don't like
As
this.
no one really does.
So Finn,
That I didn't even think about that, but that's
Yeah.
that's a good. Even though it's based on several
Speculation,
assumptions,
several layers.
and several layers of speculation,
Yeah.
but
as most of this is.
I
but-
put it in my head as just being true.
Speaking of
And
speculation,
it might as well be because the fact that a movie makes us want to like create excuses and or like try to
and
resolve
think
things
this deeply about it.
is just a testament.
Kind
to
of a
its appeal.
Schrodinger's cat. We don't know. It's in the
We
box
can
right
make
now.
whatever story
Yeah.
we want.
It can be whatever it is.
RNG fan fiction coming at you.
Speaking of all this speculation, Finn, Lando's kid, yes, no?
Oh,
So brutal.
that would
It
No.
can be. There can
No.
be only one.
No.
that could be
So,
great.
but Lando is probably coming back in one of the next movies, I think, right?
I don't know
Oh,
that.
no shit.
I don't know.
He might.
that would be
I
cool.
think. I think that I read something about they asked him,
I just
That'd be fun.
and or at least he was interested. I don't know if they actually will or not.
I made an
can't
entire
recall.
story in my mind right when you said that why he's Lando's kid. I give it
Lando
to you.
is Snoke.
Oh yeah,
You just-
you
just
come up
said it.
with any sort of theories. Right?
He still owed a price to the Empire,
Ooh,
and
and they came.
he didn't.
exact
He didn't.
that.
He did.
He didn't hold the deal. They came and
They took his
took
son.
his
his son.
firstborn.
Or
Wow, It's very
Lando is
biblical.
Snoke, and he just looks like that because he got the Michael Jackson disease, and then Finn
Wow.
is the kid.
Oh God!
It's a, hey,
Michael Jackson.
It's a theory.
just this was
theory.
trying to make it make sense.
Plus,
And
he was
then
a hologram.
and then
We don't
made,
know.
They made Finn.
We don't know the pigment.
That didn't go through my mind once until now.
But what I really wanted to get to is I think what we've talked about already is Finn has more to him, or he has to have more to him, in my opinion. All we know right now is like he was a stormtrooper, and now he's not. His only skills are in combat with blasters, or maybe with a little bit of melee if he wants to get his
Yeah,
back chopped
somehow
off.
he's a crack shot as a stormtrooper.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he has
But,
a lot of assets.
The big thing is why
He's
is
also-
why is he an anomaly?
Well, yeah, exactly. There's more
The
to it.
Force feels
There's
like
there's more to it because he doesn't fall in line with everything. He's been trained his whole life.
freaks out.
He's got right now. He's only got one skill, one talent. I mean, he can't fly. He can't speak a bunch of alien languages. I mean,
he's pretty shitty.
He's entertaining as a character, but they're going to give him more if he's going to stick around as like a main character in the story.
I bet he becomes
they
like
have to.
a commando. I mean, I bet he's
Yeah.
like he's very resourceful.
Yes, he is.
He survives a lot of very difficult encounters barely, but through his resourcefulness. I don't know. I bet he goes. I could see him not being force sensitive.
But what if he was
Yeah.
a force sensitive, force using commando? Like he didn't use a lightsaber. Like he was like, screw that. I got cut up all in the back trying to play that business, and he just goes around with like,
Cut up in the back.
yeah,
Yeah,
And
I'm all about it.
because you don't really see a character like that. That's like a force user, but using a ranged.
Well,
like-
Well, the
other than
impediment-
Leia,
plus the Jedi Academy doesn't
Yeah.
exist. They're losing the Jedi tradition. Is what's left of it? Even just with time
Right.
is being lost more and more to
you
legend.
know, I gotta
so-
say, speaking of force using commanders, and Leia could have been that. I was a little confused as to why Leia was definitely embracing the force. She said, "May the force be with you" a lot,
Yeah,
and like
since
she
Han's
feels
death.
things in the force. But there was never. I thought maybe she'd have a lightsaber. Maybe she trained with Luke. I'm surprised that they didn't. I wonder why.
Why?
Why
Yeah.
didn't
sorry.
she? Sorry.
Hey, it's just a touch.
Smack each other.
The wall.
Dana and I touched each other awkwardly, just to explain to
Physical
the listener.
touch.
Slap and tickle.
One, the thing with Leia is, I think she just was. I don't think it was that
Time.
I
She
don't
just didn't have the time.
that.
She's a
Yeah,
career-
she was
she's a
raising.
career
She
woman.
was raising kids
Got a
that
busy
were
schedule here.
She's raising. She's
raising
a
at least
bad
one
kid.
kid that was an asshole.
I don't know if she raised him.
Maybe she.
No.
and that's why.
I
'Cause
think I think he was handed over to
Well,
Luke
she
from
says,
a young age.
I pushed him away, and that's when I lost him.
Exactly.
Whatever that means.
What if she
Mom.
didn't want to pursue being a Jedi because it meant not having a relationship
Yeah.
with Han?
Well, I think
That'd be
kids.
good. That'd be a good one.
in my
knows?
opinion, she's force sensitive. She's not a force user, so she has that sensitivity to the force. She just
Hasn't trained it.
she was already down a line of politics and stuff. Luke was essentially a clean slate. He was a scrapper type guy. Like he just, and she's already
Naive.
Yeah, naive.
Brainwash him
Exactly.
easily.
He wasn't. He didn't have a lot going on
Malleable.
there.
He's so malleable.
You got to do it the Force this way.
She's
like,
Yeah.
all right, I can do that. Full acceptance.
Whereas, like, she was already like in.
Yeah.
She had a whole
She's
life
doing
of
what she
being
knows.
royalty.
True. It's true.
She's been royalty embroiled in politics. Like, I just don't think that was the path for her. So she's force sensitive. Never built really. She didn't either by
I bet
choice or
she's got a few tricks up her sleeve.
yeah, either by choice
I mean,
or
her
by
brothers.
A few prestidigitations.
Oh yeah.
or by
Little light
situation.
flickering.
But yeah, I don't. Shit, there was something else I want to say. But yeah, she prestidigitation.
Nice. Yeah. Good word. Good word.
Yeah,
a good
I
word.
can't even say.
Well,
it.
I wondered about Leia because I thought that would be a cool.
By the way, I
addition.
said when I was talking about Finn, I said I thought you were saying this. I said commando, not commander. So not like Leia,
Oh,
but like
either way, badass
yeah,
military
badass
soldier.
military
Yeah.
dude.
Give him a
I'm
jetpack.
thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
Be like the anti Boba Fett.
The anti
Yeah,
Boba.
that, with the force instead of lots of
Yeah.
trinkets.
You know, I'm surprised we didn't see any bounty hunter imagery,
Elements.
right?
Right.
Because this is a totally new line of thinking, but I was interested at the setting of this because it is it's very similar to New Hope in that it's very much removed from high level society.
Mhm.
It's
Outer
on the
rim
fringe, outer
stuff.
rim. We're getting a
Right.
lot of pirate coves or scrapper towns or that's it. Otherwise, you're like on the ships. You're either
Docking
on the
Bay
Falcon
94.
or you're on some sort of Star Destroyer or the planet of the Star Killer.
Right.
So I love that setting of we saw a lot of. There's so much to see in the universe, and we can't see a lot. But I think that the way that they did this made it so that we saw a lot of different, interesting
Biomes.
worlds in addition to Star Wars that we
Yeah.
already know. New alien species, for example, we didn't see a lot of familiar ones, except for the ones associated with the Republic.
Mhm.
I don't know. At the first time I watched it, I thought that the planet they went to was Yavin 4. It was the moon from A New Hope, like the Massassi jungle
Oh.
temples.
Mhm.
Oh
remember
yeah,
that?
yeah.
Looked very similar. I don't think it was though. They mentioned the planet I think later or earlier, and I missed it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's a different place. Anyway, I really enjoyed that. Like it's definitely uncivilized and intense, and the fact that the Resistance and the First Order came together at that just random jungle castle cantina to have an all out. By the
Yeah.
way, that might be my favorite scene in the whole movie when the First Order shows up. It's not going well. There's all this fighting going on, bowcaster action, funniest stuff with Han and Chewie. Finn picks up the lightsaber, right?
Mhm.
And then suddenly, as they're being taken prisoner, it's this Deus Ex moment of they hear that noise, and then the X-wings are flying across the water towards them,
Oh yeah.
and
Poe
everybody
is-
just
Poe's
stops.
still alive.
Poe is
Oh my gosh,
he
Poe-
is badass.
Poe in that
they
scene-
show him flying around.
That's my favorite scene.
Yeah, it
it's
was
where
really good.
Finn is fighting, and then they go off Finn to follow Poe, and it's this extended shot, and then Finn comes back in at the end.
Yeah, it was a really
fighting
well done
again.
shot.
It
Yeah.
was it was great,
and
like, it
Poe
was so
killed,
great.
I think, 8 to 10 TIE fighters
in
that
like
shot.
5
And
seconds.
stormtroopers.
Yeah,
And
he took down
stormtroopers.
like 3 TIE fighters.
He was
and like
fucking badass.
I know,
So
it
like,
was great.
Yeah, it was good.
so
Really,
them
really
them
cool.
saying he was like saying this is the best pilot, like because Kylo Ren even says so. This is the best pilot of the Resistance or
Yeah.
whatever. He really is. Whereas like you just trust that Han Solo is pretty awesome at what he does.
Oh gosh,
Yeah.
Poe was insane. What he was doing.
Like yeah, Poe like it was, and it was really the timing was
and
great.
he's a nice guy.
And
He's just a nice.
I think he's going to have a lot more screen time.
He's like
I hope
the
he
new,
does.
He's
I
sort
really
of,
enjoyed him.
He's sort of the new Han Solo to me in a way.
a little bit.
Like,
Yeah.
he's
I
got
think
that
supposed to be
roguish
like really good and charming. I mean, the way he treats BB-8, no one treats droids like that. He treats
Yeah.
him like a loving dog.
love
He's like, I
BB-8.
love you,
Yeah.
BB-8.
And what he says to Kylo
And
Ren.
what he says
like,
to Kylo Ren.
Just kind of
Do I talk
Right.
first?
scrappy, not
He's-
afraid.
He's definitely got the roguish.
Do you
Yeah.
think?
quality.
Or the exchange between Finn and Poe when they first meet.
Yeah.
And Finn's
You
like
need a
trying
pilot.
to
You
get
need
him.
a
He's like,
pilot.
you need a pilot.
Yeah.
We're gonna do this, buddy. He's like immediately becomes like it's gonna be fun, man.
Yeah, because Finn kind of puts on a thing. He goes, "It's the right thing to do." Like
Yeah.
that's why
You
he's
need a
doing it.
pilot.
He's like, "You need
Yes.
a pilot." He's like, "I gotta get
That
out of here."
exchange was amazing. I love
great.
that exchange.
Do you think he's going to be like the focus of this in between movie where they do what is it? They're doing Rogue
It's
Squadron or
Rogue
something.
One.
Yeah, Rogue One.
Rogue One.
I don't
think.
think so.
I don't think he
Isn't
was
it supposed?
in it.
Is it supposed to be during New Hope, like when
think I
the
saw it
rebel?
cast.
I have no
I don't know the
idea
timeline.
anything about it.
I don't know the timeline.
I know
either.
Alan Tudyk's in it. I know Forrest Whitaker's in it.
Really?
Alan's a
I leave on the
CG
wind.
robot voice.
Alan's a CG robot voice, I think.
Hopefully a pilot.
He's
And he
doing a
doesn't
lot
die.
of voice acting these days.
He's really good at it.
He
Yeah.
is.
Oh man.
Yes.
Well, he started way back with iRobot.
iRobot, he was
Yeah.
a robot.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't even think about that. I was
Yeah.
thinking a lot of Wreck-It Ralph. Like I was
Wreck-It
So,
Ralph
I mean,
was
look at
amazing.
his CG.
I was like, maybe he had
you
the
know?
skill and
he's
just-
got robot skills.
He's got
He
robot
can
voice
do that
skills.
again.
yeah.
Oh man.
He can play a droid.
Real quick. Oh shit!
Richard Dreyfuss.
I had something on my mind that I really want to mention.
You gotta use the phone.
I was trying to find that
So
GIF
many
today
classic.
so I could send it, but
I love it.
That
So good.
I watched that
There's no
like
gift.
10 times in a row one morning.
Oh,
I was
it's
just
so
like,
good.
I really like the Javier Bardem one too. Just the the two balls as just like one right here, and then two more.
Yeah.
and they're very powerful.
Yeah, they're very powerful.
Wow. Well, so I think one of the biggest things to take away from the movie and what we've discussed so far is that there are, the three kind of main-ish new characters. We're all really excited to see where they take it.
Yeah,
like
totally.
their stories.
this is true.
Because
We-
we've just kind of gone off on
Right.
Ray and Poe
Well,
and Finn and
We haven't focused too much on
even
Ray.
Kylo Ren. We're
right?
excited to see.
We
haven't,
honestly,
not
Ray
enough.
stole the whole show for
Oh,
me.
she's amazing.
awesome.
Yeah,
her,
she's really
her
good.
character,
Great
her
actress.
acting.
She has a weird British accent, so
Everything
it sounds
about
like
her.
she's kind of imperial. What's that all about?
I think it's by
Are
who
they sticking to that? You
who
think?
she,
I don't know.
whoever raised her, or at least was kind of guardian of her on Jakku or whatever that planet is. That's what I assume. I assume they had an imperial
Well, when they
accent.
leave,
Yeah.
I think the guy that's got his hand on her shoulder is the dude that hands out the portions for as trade. I think that's like the only people she knows there.
Yeah.
I don't think she was really raised by anybody.
Yeah.
I don't know though. Maybe they'll explain.
One other thing I really
That would
want
be crazy.
that I forgot and wanted to mention real quick
I think that was
about the characters and the actors is that I love that they did the same thing that was really pretty much what happened in New Hope. Pretty obscure actors
oh yeah,
for the
Yeah.
new characters.
That's correct.
And
and they all played. They were really good.
they were
were great.
excellent. Like leading up to A New Hope, Carrie Fisher, like she was in Blues Brothers, but had kind of a minor role.
Oh
wasn't
yeah,
re-
she was pretty minor.
yeah, like
Wasn't she a nun?
no, she was a crazy lady. She was a
Oh no,
crazy
she was a nun and
ex-girlfriend.
something else.
She played herself.
She was a nun in Jay and Silent
Jay and
Bob,
Silent Bob Strike Back. That's what I was
and
saying.
that was
Oh,
Mark
yeah.
Hamill
Yeah.
was also in that. So there you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
Mark Hamill had more screen time in that movie than he did in this movie.
Ugh.
I thought he looked great though. He looked
did
like
look
what
great.
I thought he should
His
look like.
his apparel, his vestments.
I liked
were
it. I was gonna say that.
awesome.
They were perfect.
They were a
And-
little lighter too than what we were used to in the browns and the blacks of the
right,
prequels,
Yeah.
and having
which I
the,
really loved.
the beard and the hair were great because
Yeah, he
Mark
had it
Hamill was
going
getting old. Like I was
touch of
worried
gray.
that they would try to make him seem still spry because maybe the Force was like, but he is more of a he is
He's gonna be
better
like a-
versed on the
yeah.
side of
He's gonna be a mystic.
Force
Yeah.
manipulation because he was trained by Yoda,
Right.
and whereas like we said before, his training as like more of a knight, like the lightsaber and combat isn't spectacular, and I think he's looking the part now big time.
I agree.
and love
Well,
it.
I wonder
Very
how often
Ben Kenobi.
like the ghost of Obi-Wan could come back and actually teach him lightsaber forms.
Run through some tutorials.
Like, yeah, I mean, could they still continue the training of him after the Return of the Jedi?
I bet they
mean,
could.
Yeah,
he can just commune with multiple highly powerful Force users.
Spirits.
Yeah.
but they really wanted to get rid of Alec Guinness.
Yes.
He was. I read some stuff like he was an asshole.
Really?
Like, pretentious.
Yeah, he hated
Sir
everything
Alec
about
Guinness?
filming the movie. He's
that sucks.
never leading up to it. He only did like one interview beforehand and like never wanted to talk about it afterwards. And always, I think till his death, just was like, I hate that. I don't even
sucks.
want to be a part of it. Blah
Huh.
blah. Yet he
He was a stage actor though.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think he probably felt like.
yeah. But then again, look
Why
at
did he
like
do
he
it?
betrayed
look at
himself.
X-Men with
Could be on with Christopher Walken.
Patrick Stewart and
Ian McKellen.
Ian McKellen. They are both, but they're having fun.
They
Just
love it.
Make your
Yeah,
paycheck.
just
Sit down.
relax,
But the
man.
thing was,
Well, please people. That's your job.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Is to entertain.
Yeah,
So-
don't get all high and mighty about it.
Yeah,
yeah.
I agree.
Hone your
I've
craft,
heard
but
that
your
rumor
craft
as
is
well.
to entertain.
Yeah.
So why are you upset? But he in his contract, 2% on all gains like from
Media.
the film.
Oh God.
man.
So it made him staggeringly rich.
That's amazing.
Oh man.
And so
I
he's
would be thankful.
How much
Yeah.
will you sell out for $1
so
billion?
he's still
Quit
like
complaining.
Enough to be an old mystic in a sci-fi movie.
yeah.
Cha-ching.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sorry if I ruined
Famous
any,
character.
Sorry if I ruined anybody's perception of Alec Guinness, but
Oh, I
Just what I
actually
read.
had heard those rumors too.
Yeah.
So be it. The spirit thing would be crazy. I definitely approached the movie with the vague idea that maybe Luke's absolutely crazy because he's just been hanging out with ghosts
Dead
for
people.
30 years,
Yeah.
which would be really
He does
weird.
kind of have a little bit of the crazy eyes when he sees
Yoda's,
He does have a little
Yoda's a
crazy
bit
eyes.
off his
Yeah.
rocker too.
Well, I mean,
Oh, yeah.
Yoda is,
And-
but is that like
and they're not
deliberate?
like young
Is
ghosts.
that
They're
just
old
like
crazy
veiled?
ghosts.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yoda could
he
be
is playing the
senile,
part of
but I
just
think
some
he's trying
random
to-
Well,
hermit
yeah.
at first.
Right, which is actually part of the archetype again. Usually when you meet the wisdom holding creature,
Comes
they,
across as a
they come
dunce.
across as like a fool,
Yeah.
and then they reveal, actually, I have everything you need.
Yeah.
I'm wise.
I'm right here. I'm
Right.
like a vending
I got it
machine
all.
with
So
all your
that's
favorite
all,
candy.
That's all playing the part. So
Better
maybe Luke
tasting
will
food.
be like that. Maybe he'll pretend like I don't care. I failed. I'm crazy now. And then it's really just like he doesn't want to invest hope
Yeah.
into a new
Right.
student.
Exactly.
Into a newer
Very
hope.
That'd be a
true.
good story.
The newer hope.
And there
The
is
newest hope.
there
The
is
newest
something
hope.
The most
slight-
recent hope.
the most recent hope. There is something very interesting and somewhat awkward about that scene. They cut back between like his face and her face, like one more time than is necessary, and I almost was like, "This is kind of funny." Like,
Yeah.
this is-
And they really-
and he just looks more and more like weird,
More,
It's just like
there's a little head turn in the last one. Yeah.
like a
it's
Stewie
drool.
head turn.
Right.
That's great.
I
And
like
they really
it.
stretched out the like walking up the stairs scene too.
Yeah.
Well, I like
But
it,
it was
Which
a
is
big-
good. I thought
yeah.
no, I thought it was all good. I liked
well,
it.
But
I like
I
it from the
agree.
sense of like Ray and or Luke. Luke went into hiding. No one knows where he is. He's succeeded for a long time now. Ray has no idea what she's doing. We could have a whole conversation about why Ray and Chewbacca get to be the ones to go visit Luke alone.
With BB-8.
First of all,
Yeah, why would no BB-8 was
was
there?
there. R2
BB-8 was on the
went-
Oh
ground.
no, it was R2. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Never mind. Sorry.
Okay.
So why didn't
why-
Leia go, for
Oh,
example?
why did R2 wake up?
But anyway,
We haven't even covered that.
what would Ray do? Like, hey, Luke Skywalker, I have your father's lightsaber. Hope no memories are. Hope it doesn't hurt too much.
Can we be friends
And then
now?
Luke's like, oh hey,
You know that thing?
who are you? It's gonna be like, who the are you with my lightsaber? And Ray's like, oh shit, like
Yeah.
he's kind of intimidating. I don't know what's
Yeah.
going on. So there's that awkward.
Crazy old
I think
man
it'd be
eyes.
naturally awkward.
Yeah, but I also think he senses the Force in her big time.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah.
Well, he probably has premonition at
he
this
had-
point, like
oh,
Yoda
yeah.
did. So
Right.
he's
I wish they
probably
would
knew
have
this was
given
happening.
him one line
He
just
has
to
a-
hint at where this was going to go.
He has
But
a look of like knowing when he
Yeah,
sees
I would
her.
agree with
That's
that.
the first
he has a lot of
before the crazy.
looks to him with the crazy.
he does have a lot of looks.
He's a complex liquor.
I think that was kind of what was going on. Was like,
Oh, yeah, I loved it.
He was giving very ambiguous, like could be meaningful, could be ambiguous looks. Like, but there was,
in his 2 or 3 takeaway shots.
Yeah, it is
Trying to
like-
dig
the
into
first
his
one
face.
is just like, and then
What's going on behind those eyes?
lightsaber.
I wonder how many times they made him shoot that,
Oh God.
because that was a very interesting face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was so thrilled to see him in the movie that
Oh, absolutely.
everything
Oh,
else
yeah.
I was ignored.
Well,
I ignored it all.
should we cover?
Just pumped about it.
Go ahead.
Just really quick. I did jump in on when you were just explaining at the beginning when you were kind of doing your general take on the Luke thing, but I think it was good personally. I wasn't like making an argument, but I personally think bringing him in at
Right.
the end, like I think,
Yeah, let the new characters develop.
Yeah, exactly.
I agree.
Luke Skywalker
Because
would
Han
overshadow
and
the whole
Chewie
thing.
and C-3PO and R2-D2 to an extent, and Leia. I mean, they do need, like, this mantle does need to be passed down. Like, we can't be coming back from the movies, these specific movies, just for, Han Solo. That's one of the reasons,
Yeah.
and that's why something we talked about. One of the reasons, like, he kind of needed to die. Something needed to happen, But also, one thing real quick, RAtE. Another kind of reason why I think Rey is good, or Rey might be, a relative. She takes up Han's mantle as pilot of the
Right,
Millennium
she
Falcon
does.
with Chewie as
And Han
co-pilot,
brings
can
her in,
speak to him.
Right? Han brings her
Yeah.
in.
Yeah, and there's a connection there that is just
I
so
agree.
strong that
I wonder if Han knew.
I
something
think
was
he
going
might
on.
have, but the reason why he talks to Ben and is just like, you're my son, blah blah blah, but he doesn't to her is like, I think he kind of wants to protect. He still has that inkling to protect her and keep her out of things as much as possible.
Yeah.
Which just
I'm excited to
blown
find
away.
out if that's true or not.
Yeah, I am too.
But it's gonna be
Theories,
interesting.
I agree.
speculation.
You know, I think my big Luke thing, not to
My
beat
big
a
Luke
dead
thing.
horse, but going into the movie, I think I just wanted old warmth back. You know what I
Right.
mean? I think a lot of people did. They went in,
The comfort of awesome.
and I
classic
think
Star
my
Wars.
issue was Luke. My issues with Luke going in was I just really because I honestly I'm not a. It was not until Return of the Jedi that I even really was fully on board with Luke, and I think that's the case for a lot of people.
Right.
I agree.
Because he's whiny and he's naive and he doesn't know what he's doing and he can't handle it and he's very much this almost like Kylo Ren more than anything else.
Kylo
where
Ren,
he just really does
Anakin.
not understand what's going on.
Yeah.
Right. But Return of the Jedi Luke and even End of Empire when he kind of mans up and like he stands up to Yoda, which everyone is probably like, you should stay and complete your training, but come on, what are you going to do when your family's about to die?
Yeah.
It's just
Your
the way
friends.
that Skywalkers are when they're young, they're whiny.
It's just a Skywalker
Young
way.
Skywalkers.
And probably most other people in the whole wide world.
True.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think I was expecting Luke's not the protagonist of this story.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
bottom line.
And you wanted
I think
him-
that's
Yeah.
what was made very clear to me in the first movie, and that's fine.
One
But-
thing we should
Yeah.
cover
especially because they covered it. So
also
well.
that we haven't discussed yet is why R2D2 kind of woke up.
That I was that is my least favorite aspect of this whole movie.
It's hard to really explain. I don't have a very good way of convincing myself.
He woke up when Han died, right?
But yeah,
he
shortly
woke up when
after.
they returned.
yeah,
from
it was
the
weird.
mission.
So it was already done.
There was no explanation given for why, especially when he's been in low power mode since Master Luke went away.
Yep.
Okay.
Maybe it is
That's
a
fine.
premonition from Luke, and he planned
Well,
it.
the only so last night I tried to keep
That was
a
one thing.
specific eye in the second showing of are there any connections to why R2 would wake up, because it really it was the only thing that really bothered me after the
Yeah.
first time was I don't know why this happened.
Yeah.
The only other time R2D2 is mentioned other than the reveal of him and then the later awakening of R2. When Rey is having her weird lightsaber flashback premonition moment, because she sees past, present, and future in that, right?
Oh yeah, and she sees Luke.
She sees Luke touching R2, right?
Which is an
and
interesting
that's
scene.
it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't say or mean anything at the time. But when Rey has her awakening, which is what happens to her on the mission, and she returns, maybe Luke did find a way to like program. I mean, Luke was pretty good at fiddling around too. You know, so maybe he found a way to make him sensitive to Rey's awakening.
Well, and the first thing that
Or
happens when he
someone's
wakes up is
awakening.
like, "Hey, I found the map. This map in my brain." R2. The first thing
Yeah.
he says is, "Well,
I
other
have
than
the
I think
map.
insulting C3PO is,
I have the map.
I have this map."
Yeah.
Here's a thing. Maybe Luke is manipulating. Maybe Luke is somewhat like because he is
A little
so
Snokey.
so
Being a little Snokey.
Snokish.
he is so in touch with the Force. He does send R2 back, and R2 doesn't awake until they come back from being
Right.
successful. So maybe he, in a way, was kind of trying to drive events to that being, that place being destroyed. Some things, whatever happened there, happen,
Right.
and then once they come back. And who knows if he can even maybe possibly manipulate? We don't know how
Maybe he
powerful
can.
he is at this
Maybe
point.
he put a focus inside R2 and he can access it over billions of light years.
Yeah, and
It's a special bond.
Well, here's another question I had. So if R2, I know R2D2 is a level. I'm wearing R2D2 socks. I'm a huge fan of R2D2, but R2D2 is a robot. So if at any moment you think that the plans for the frickin' map to Luke are in his brains, you take him apart. He is a robot, right?
yeah,
Find it.
You wake his ass up, or you get into the bowels of his mind.
Plug him in.
and you
Get him
take
out of
it
low
out.
power mode.
Yeah.
I thought BB-8 was just going to be like, all right, let me break into him and find out what's going
See, that's
on.
what-
Well,
Why-
maybe they didn't
who-
know that was in there
Maybe,
because they
but-
never do say
but
like
Leia should
he's
be-
got the map.
You would think so. Like R2 and Luke have always been companions. R2's the only one with him on Empire. R2's the one that goes with him after they defeat Jabba the Hutt. R2's always in his
Right.
X-wing. Like
Well, and I
take
mean,
R2 apart. And
if they
find
can
Luke.
wipe a droid's memory, they should probably be able to like download the droid memory.
Yeah,
So-
I wonder. They did not explain that, which
think?
leaves it open to a lot of speculation.
Definitely.
And I don't. I want to know that.
I just want the next
The
movie.
truth of
know.
this not true universe.
Why did Luke have to touch him like that?
Just a caressing
Companionship.
Yeah, like what?
They got
what was
close,
that?
dude. It's Ghost and R2 only. R2's the.
Yeah.
You're not gonna.
I feel
the
like
only
he was.
other-
You're not
he
gonna
was
get
doing-
comfy with a ghost.
He was doing something. He was manipulating the Force in some way with R2 there. I don't know. That's
Yeah.
my speculation.
I
he
think
was
that's what
doing
it's gotta be.
something. Like
That's
you
what it's
said,
gotta
maybe.
Or
Yeah.
you know, in stories like this, shit happens when it needs to happen.
Yep.
And that's when R2 woke up.
Yeah. And I think I've seen an explanation of somebody who's trying to make
I don't,
an
I don't
argument.
accept that.
Nobody likes
no
that.
Deus
Nobody-
Machina.
nobody-
No.
That's what it is.
It's
It's
probably
Yeah.
that, but I saw somebody else trying to make an argument that BB-8 woke him up, but it just took him a bit to respond because he's old.
They could have
Which
said
doesn't
that.
make
though.
any sense.
They could have just
Yeah,
said
they
that.
just
Though.
said,
They
like,
it could have been like BB-8 says something to C-3PO, and C-3PO is like, "Oh, okay. If you think you can figure it out, go for it."
Yeah, and then wake him up.
Hours later.
But the fact
it
that they
works.
didn't do that means there's probably more to it.
Right.
Than that. But
Yeah.
I'm sure there is. I'm sure they thought of it. I mean, that
Oh.
would be a
BB-8 and R2D2 certainly had a chat when he woke up.
yes.
So yeah, the whole thing about the map, I think BB-8 was probably like,
Can you help
"Yo,
us with this map
these
thing?
Are you the
humans are
one?
going crazy about this map. You got the map?" And he's like, "I got the map. All right, let's show him the map."
Are you the keymaster?
so do-
Because I'm the gatekeeper.
From what? So how does he have the map? I mean, did Luke give it to him? How did the Empire? Well, the First Order said, Kylo Ren said that they have part of a map to Luke Skywalker that they dug out of like the Empire files.
Interesting.
So
Right.
how,
I don't
how
know.
did? Yeah, it's interesting.
I mean, unless Luke had this all figured out in advance, in like this is his apocalyptic solution.
Yeah, like he'll be found when the time
Leave
is
parts of the
right,
map
kind
to
of
myself.
thing.
Well,
Like,
if
I
he could
feel-
anticipate before Kylo Ren destroyed his order, which I assume is when he had to make these plans.
Right.
Did he anticipate it? And he's like, I know what I'm going to do if this all goes poorly, which is a terribly unconfident way to approach training Jedi.
hey guys, this is gonna go horribly
Always
wrong.
have a
Guys,
backup
we're
plan.
gonna
You're
give it
die
a
on the
go.
dark side.
But
Let's-
I definitely have a backup plan.
That's all
So
I'm gonna say.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't know. That was the biggest mystery to me, and I don't know. Hopefully they explain it later. If they
Oh, I'm
don't,
sure.
I'll make
I think
up my own story that fits that I like.
Yeah, the bottom line is we need the next movie to come out because
Only 2
I'm
years.
really excited about it. Yeah, 2 years.
I enjoyed
to-
speculation though.
So we
I agree.
I love it swarming around my brain.
Again, I think it's a testament to the appeal of the
that
story
you can
and
sit
the
there
world.
and think about all this for so long.
One more thing that I wanted to talk about.
Sure,
See, I didn't get a chance to. I don't know if you guys chatted about the movie.
just
a whole
throw it,
bunch.
man.
Not really.
Yeah. So
Spit your game.
just we Joe, you and I talked about this again a little bit.
Yeah.
Just the way the movie, the cinematography of the movie
Oh yeah.
was so much better than I think George Lucas would have ever been capable of. Like some of the shots, I remember there was one shot, and it's when Rey's hanging off the edge, hiding from the stormtroopers, and then like was opening. So, and the angle of the shot was just so awesome and great. I was just like, this feels like a great movie, like
Yeah.
as
This
opposed
is a
well
good
made.
movie.
yeah,
well-made movie.
yeah, and one thing that you said was it feels more visceral, and it does. Like I think everything from their combat style is that like big heavy swings, like it's like the way the sounds when Kylo Ren is using the Force and like stops the bolt or is prying into their mind or like those really felt strong and visceral as opposed to
It's a full on sensory experience.
yeah, and we
Even
saw it-
from the row behind you.
Oh yeah.
even from the row behind us and down to the right in 3 dimensions. There were people talking in the theater, dear listener.
Yeah.
And I just and things really felt impactful, and they were just. It really felt like a good action movie, like the aesthetics of a good action movie in the Star Wars universe, and it just it really. It was great.
Even down to
Felt-
when Starkiller Base explodes and there's just that hint of lens flare.
Yeah, that
brings
was
it
the
all
one.
That's the
together.
one.
That was the one, and that was
Brings
just
it all
always like,
together.
oh come on, like really, buddy.
See a
And there's a
reflection of
Wilhelm
JJ's
scream the
nuts.
first like 15 minutes.
Oh
I
yeah,
think,
there's
so
definitely
they really
in
got that
the-
one out there.
The battle, yeah.
Right out the gate.
Yeah, just
I would
tying it
I
into
totally
classics.
second that. I mean, that's a great scene. The scene we mentioned earlier with Poe dominating at the castle.
Really well done scene.
Amazing scene. The scene where one of the opening scenes where Poe's running away to get on his X-wing, and they show him getting in his X-wing, and in the background, it's like the beginning of the battle with the village, and you see it all happening in the background.
Mhm.
Amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Like everything was really, and like when Rey is diving in the Star Destroyer, I don't know. Everything was really,
Mhm.
really, really well done.
Yeah,
in that
the
regard.
shots were great. The
The
acting
scene-
was great.
The scene where Rey and Finn run onto the balcony from the outside of the planet, and the light that comes in the doorway perfectly lands on Han and Kylo Ren.
Did you notice that it made Kylo
yeah.
Ren's face like half
Half
bluish
white,
and
yeah,
half reddish,
I did
and then
notice.
the sun goes down and it's all red,
all
and then he kills
right?
Han Solo.
Yeah.
Exactly. Very, very artistic.
Right,
Yeah.
tying that all
It
together.
was nice.
So all
enjoyed
around,
it.
you know, 2 thumbs up. Great holiday fun. If you still haven't seen the movie and you listen to
Definitely
this
go
whole
see
thing,
it.
we're sorry, but go see it.
Yeah.
Are
There's
we
plenty more.
good for Arquadded? Random
Arquadded.
question of the day.
Let's go.
Hit us up.
So I'm going to do the Arquadded today, and it's thematically applies to what we've been talking about so far. But I wanted to know, what is your favorite Star Wars video game?
Nice. Good one.
Wow.
So obviously, in the spirit of the Arquadded, I'll go first, so that you guys have time to think about it, since I've obviously already had time. And I kind of fought back and forth between there were really good N64 games like the Shadows of the Empire, and some good like X-Wing action. X-Wing versus TIE Fighter, all the TIE Fighter games were incredible.
Yeah.
Some of the old classic RPGs. Star Wars The Old Republic, I really enjoyed, but I think I'm going to have to go with the original Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah.
Because it was just such a good
It
RPG,
is
and I still go
amazing.
back and I'll play it, and I'll be like, I still enjoy this game.
Yeah.
And there's still new things to
It's a great
try.
game. One of the biggest shattering reveals, I think. in
Yeah,
an
that's
RPG.
story done right in a video game.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
which
good.
you
They
don't
did a great job.
get
Mhm.
very often.
I like what they did in terms of just the whole Old Republic. You know, just go back into the past, and then you can do whatever you want, and it's really awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
there were-
Thousands of years.
There were a
Yeah.
lot of mechanics in KOTOR that you can see coming up again in later BioWare,
Yeah,
like Mass Effect. I mean, that's
Definitely.
they did a lot of good things, innovative things in the RPG sense
Yeah.
in that game too.
and it was kind of like a
Great
D&D D20 system
Yeah.
background. You know,
Totally.
it just made it a strong, solid game. Well
It's
put
a great
together.
choice.
I like it.
That's one of the best games ever.
Yeah. It's
Game
hard not
service.
to say that one.
Yeah.
I would say that's definitely mine as well. But if I was going to go with a second favorite,
Good.
And this is a little off the wall, but I really liked the Pod Racer game.
Yeah,
Ooh.
on
And
N64.
I played the shit out of that game.
It's a fun game.
And yeah, it was, and I'm not even really big into racing games.
Yeah.
But I just absolutely loved it. I thought they did a great campaign mode. I thought the feel of the Pod Racer was close to what, I mean, it did a good job of simulating a ridiculous
feel of the-
Felt just like how a pod racer
speed.
does
Yeah.
from your past in pod racing. I love it.
It was fun.
I agree with you though. That's a great game too. Honestly, where are you gonna go?
No.
Oh, okay. I have thought about this outside of this question.
Right.
KOTOR was huge. That's going to be a gaming experience that I never forget.
Yes.
So I agree with you and Jarv saying it's a really attractive choice. But I got to say, the game that I enjoyed the most overall was the Old Republic MMO.
yeah.
Really?
I absolutely
I really enjoyed it.
loved it. I thought
That was a good first playthrough for me.
Yeah,
Yeah, the story and everything's really
stories
great.
were incredible. The things that they added into the system, the MMO system, that were unique, like instancing they
And the
first
group
used to the
dialogue.
best way to
Yeah.
the best.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
the
group
instancing
dialogue.
It was just so amazing. I mean, I had so much fun playing that, and it was during my MMO phase, so I was into it as well. But I think that I could re-download that game and just go through the story of some random character, and I would have it'd be an incredible
Yeah.
RPG experience.
Right.
They're all unified now, though.
They're all unified.
All
Against
the
the new Empire.
No, all the stories. They changed it so if you were to play it, you don't play separate class stories.
What?
Why would they do that? Are you sure about that?
Oh, yeah.
Are you sure it's not till like after level 55 it becomes the same?
Maybe.
I
It's just what
can't
I read
imagine they
with-
would take out
I
all
just-
that content.
That would make
just
yeah.
because they have to level you up so quickly, and
Oh, that's horseshit. I hope that's not true.
Yeah.
That's so sad.
maybe
I
maybe
know-
it is still separate stories until a certain
until
point.
until the
Yeah.
expansion.
Because they
parts,
just
yeah,
added
that
a
might be
huge
true.
expansion.
Yeah, with the new expansion, at a certain level, you become the outsider.
Okay.
and I think that's where everyone
That you
starts.
define the story.
If I had to guess,
I hope so.
because that's so much content that
That's true.
with
It's
thousands
beautiful.
and
That's
thousands
true.
of
That
hours
wouldn't
of
make a
voice
whole
acting.
lot of sense. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
But even so, I
think you're
wish
right,
they
though.
would. If it is, even if it is just a 55-year Stories Unified, oh my gosh, they could have. That's a huge opportunity for. I mean, I don't know. I guess I don't know what their situation is fiscally or
Right.
in participation, so they got to do whatever they got to do. But anyway, I absolutely loved the experience of the Old Republic.
Force
Really
Unleashed
enjoyed
was
it.
also really good. I didn't.
Yeah, that was a good
mention
game. Rebel Assault blew my mind as a
that.
10-year-old.
The Jedi Knight games and
you called the planet
Forces.
Star Killer, didn't you?
Star Killer. Yeah.
Star
Is-
Killer
is-
base. Yeah,
So
that's
the
the name of it.
Star Killer base.
I wonder if it was because
Based on
Lucas signed
Revan?
off on
Star Killer
Star
being
Killer's
canon.
story. Yeah, him being the secret apprentice of Darth Vader. I wonder if that place was named after Star Killer, and
Well,
it does
Star-
also kill stars.
Isn't Star Killer an older reference to Darth Revan's space station in the EU that he uses to kill planets?
Possibly.
I believe that is
Wow.
the original usage of Star Killer.
Wow, that would be.
So I think it's a reference to that.
that would be ridiculous. Okay, that's
Maybe it's Starforge.
it's
Maybe,
the Starforge.
Oh, yeah. the
Maybe it's a
Starforge.
different
That
thing.
ring. That's definitely. I know he has the Starforge.
Maybe it is though. You could be right.
This is definitely a tough question because I love so many of them.
Go with your gut, man. What are you feeling?
I'm gonna say, yeah, I have to go with Dane. It's for me. It's a tie between Knights of the Old Republic and the Old Republic MMO, and I think it's just that whole world and that backstory and everything is just very interesting to me, and really delves into a lot of cool stuff, into the Force, and they even have their old centuries. They have their own centuries old history. You're looking for Sith relics, and it's like, man, this has gone on forever. This
Stuff from the time before time.
And it's even a hobby, right? You could be an archaeologist or whatever.
yeah.
And so uncover special stuff. I agree.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
But I do need to give, Force Unleashed is great, but one that holds a special place in my heart is Jedi Academy.
Yes.
That was probably one of my first experiences with just a really cool kind of in depth. I mean the Jedi Knight with what's his name? Kyle Katarn.
I think that's right, actually.
Yeah.
Or very close to it, which I wouldn't have remembered off the top of my head.
That game was great, but Jedi Academy was really awesome because from the start you're using a lightsaber and that was just fun, and you could go down a path of using a single lightsaber, two
Man, I
lightsabers,
really enjoyed
or
those games.
a lightsaber staff, and choose the powers that you used and stuff. And it actually had kind of cool multiplayer.
I was gonna say the multiplayer was a lot of fun.
Is that on Steam's
distinctly
winter
remember
sale?
that.
Because
I think
Yeah,
it might be.
it is for
I might
a
have to
couple
buy
bucks
that.
maybe. I think.
yeah. Best $2 I got
Yeah,
You can buy the whole Star Wars collection for like $22.
Yeah, it's great.
and
We're advertising for Steam now.
it was a fun. It was. I mean, it doesn't go a lot into the lore too deeply. You're in Luke's,
Head.
training academy, and then you go out doing stuff, and you could kind of customize your character, wear different stuff, and be different races, and it was just like a really fun,
I need to play that.
more
again.
actiony oriented type game that I really enjoyed. So I do have to give that an honorable mention.
Yeah, they
'cause
made a
that's
lot
up
of
there.
good Star Wars games through the 90s
Yeah.
and early 2000s.
I have some fun Star Killer things here. One of which was I forgot and is probably the real reference. In the original drafts of Star Wars, it wasn't Skywalker; it was Star Killer.
Oh,
wow.
yeah.
Luke and Leia Star
I
Killer.
vaguely remember that.
But I think what I was referring to is in the Clone Wars storyline, Star Killer is a super base that they make it's in the Clone Wars.
The cartoons.
I think it is.
It is a name that
something like
that it seems very descriptive
Yeah.
of a specific thing, or could be somebody's name.
Yeah.
Well, and according to Wikipedia, which I trust as a good
Implicitly.
source, that was Star Killer was what gave Sidious the idea of the Death Star.
Interesting.
So that's weird. It literally is a Star Killer, though, in The Force Awakens.
Yes.
It
eats the star.
siphons the star.
It should be Star Eater.
Consumes it.
Really.
Starsucker.
Starsucker.
Wow.
We called it Starsucker.
Go see the movie if you
Go
haven't. Go
see
see
the
Starsucker base. It's pretty impressive.
Watch Starsucker base
The Starsucker proxy.
destroy some planet related to the Republic.
Oh, man. All right. Well, that wraps it up for episode 12. Check us out at roughneckgames.com. Click all our special links at the top for Facebook and Tweetyberg pages. And enjoy our content. And listen next time for episode 13. Goodbye.
See ya.
Bella.
Bye.
I don't know what I was doing.